Marvel section. What do you want to do?
I don't know. Episode 30. We don't have an intro. Welcome, everybody, to the Glazier Gamble with Mychal Glazier and Joe Rybolt. This is our Marvel section of our podcast. We have a sports and a Marvel. If you like sports, check it out. Otherwise, this is episode 30. I think this will probably end up being a little shorter episode. I don't want to, jump ahead, but it's kind of a dead week in Marvel. So we have some other news. We actually have a lot of miscellaneous news this week. But, we have Moon Knight news, Spider-Man 4, Agatha, House of Harkness, No Way Home stuff.
I got one little Marvel thing and one little miscellaneous thing to add, but other than that, you're right.
We got some Batman news, Riddler. We got a couple celebrity deaths, which were pretty sad. We got some Witcher stuff, some fun Pokemon stuff, and then some news. And then we also have LCS and Blizzard news. So let's jump into it with Marvel things, which is with what I am extremely excited for, one of my favorite heroes of all time, Moon Knight. Moon Knight is actually getting reshot in some portions. I think that's not bad news because it doesn't sound like it's going to cause any delays.
Right. Everything has reshoots too. Like that's not a weird thing.
A lot of time the movie will come out with like a trailer. I can't remember what movie it was that happened recently, that I think it was Venom, said that Venom 2 had reshoots the day before release.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. So, it's common, and I don't think it's bad news. I think it's actually fun at the idea of like theories. I think that this is a potential making room for more Blade shots
or Punisher.
Or Punisher. And I think I put this down. They saw how much success cameos had in No Way Home. So I think that's either a reason to bring in Blade, or because this is what Disney and Marvel often do, they produce things as if, this is a leak, we didn't want that to come out. This actor is playing this character. I think that there is a potential for Ghost Rider to show up in like the final episode.
I'm gonna add one to it.
Okay.
I think with the post-credit scene of Eternals, that Black Knight could be someone they move into the that kind of world.
Absolutely. I think so. With Blade confirmed being in it, Blade confirmed being in the end of Eternals with Black Knight.
Right.
I'm mad at myself for not thinking of that.
Yeah.
I think Black Knight is first of all, Kit Harington was already in Hawkeye. He was playing Kazi. And so like you bring him in and have him be Black Knight.
He's done some brutal stuff too with his Game of Thrones days. So that's not weird for him to be
it's probably not going to be too brutal considering it's PG-13.
Yeah, well, we can hope.
Yeah, I would love if they could get some brutalness into, like, some of these comic books I think should be more bright and colorful and even more kid-like, and some of these comic book shows and movies need to be darker and more adult. Not everyone can be middle of the road PG-13. Some of these need to be R, and some of them can flirt with the lower PG-13 with bright, colorful costumes and more satirical jokes. I think they should do that. Get a wider range. But yeah, I think these reshoots are good news. I think this is all good news. We mentioned, cameos in No Way Home being successful for Moon Knight, and that might bring them in more. No Way Home brought in Tobey Maguire, and they brought in Andrew Garfield.
Yes.
Well, apparently Spider-Man 4 is in development with Tobey Maguire.
Yep. And a lot of people want it as like a Logan-esque type thing. Logan-esque final story. He would die, I guess. I don't know.
Kirsten Dunst's been interviewed twice already since this announcement. And she said, I absolutely want to be back. Yeah, the first time she said, I think that makes sense. And there's a lot on the table that I could still do with the character. The second time, yes, I absolutely want to be back. So she's taking the Vincent D'Onofrio.
Well, of course she does. Of course she wants to be back. Yeah.
But also, she probably had fun with the character. So I think she's taking the Vincent D'Onofrio route. If they haven't already signed her on she's like, get me going. And if they have, she's just like, yeah,
they need to do a little switch of how her character acted, because she was probably the least liked love interest out of the three so far. She's very back and forth,
right?
Very
they played
hot
her
and cold. Yes or no.
She's in, she was out, she's up, she's down,
right?
So
she's wrong when she's right,
she's black when she's white.
They fight, they make up,
they kiss, they break up, you know.
No, they fight, we break up.
I know, because you bet you. I just went with it.
That's what her character did.
Yeah, exactly. She kind of followed what the comic book did a bit, where similar like the new Tom Holland, how MJ is now has no idea who he is, so she might get a different love interest now that she doesn't know who Tom Holland is. Well, I don't know who that guy was either, but now that she doesn't know who Peter Parker is, she can move on.
Who is that?
I think that I honestly think that that was a big issue with Kirsten Dunst's, because her MJ had a different love interest, and she was back and forth. She was hot, she was cold, she was I think that was a big issue, but that was very true to the character, which of course Sam Raimi wanted them to be true to the character.
Right.
I think the redemption arc for her character would be to be less like that and more just all right.
Well, now she's like officially with Spider-Man now, right? Like that's what Tobey said, was that like you found her, like I found my MJ or my you know, and so
I think it would be a great send them off into the sunset, and you could kill him. I don't think that's necessary. I think with the tone of the Spider-Man 1 through 3, what 4 would be, I think instead of a Logan-esque, it would be best to be more of a, especially with the way they portrayed Andrew Garfield, Tobey Maguire, Tom Holland, Spider-Man.
I mean, it also just showed you that Tobey could kick Tom Holland's ass. Like that's just
that too.
But,
So I think Tobey would be the one that he rides off into the sunset happy.
Sure.
I think his Spider-Man has gone through the most, it feels like, emotionally. I think it's time you let him ride off into the sunset.
But then Andrew gets to go through some more shit.
The
symbiote saga.
And then if I were to say you kill one off, it's the guy who says he's not sure he wants to play Spider-Man for very long, which is Tom Holland. I think, Spider-Man 4, so it's in production. I really hope that it ends up being Kirsten Dunst comes back. They give her character a redemption. They do not kill Tobey Maguire, and they let him ride off into the sunset after successfully defeating like a super old, I don't know, like an older version of a current villain that we like. Like, so so they did Venom in his universe. They did Sandman. They did Green Goblin,
Hobgoblin, technically.
Yeah. So the next biggest one that they didn't do in his universe would probably be Mysterio. I don't know if people want to see Mysterio again.
They want to see Bruce Campbell back. Bruce Campbell is supposed to play Mysterio. They're not going to do Electro. They're not going to do Rhino. Scorpion they haven't done, but he exists in our universe technically. So Shocker we have. Chameleon they haven't done yet.
Yeah. So I think it's got to be an older version of a big villain that they haven't done yet, which they're running out. So we'll see what they decide to do. I think whatever they do, since it sounds like Sam Raimi is not necessarily the one running it. I believe they said that Spider-Man 4 would be directed by Sam Raimi.
Yeah, so I think they want him back to just finish it. Yep.
I think he'll do it right.
Yeah.
No reason to think otherwise. The next thing that's in production / this has started filming or will be starting filming in October is Agatha House of Harkness. I have to slow down on that because I always say House of Darkness. So Agatha House of Harkness will begin filming. I'm wondering what's going to happen with that show. The more I think about that show, I'm wondering where they're going to go with it. Because you mentioned, when we've talked about
prequel stuff,
is it going to be a prequel or is it going to be continuing?
I personally think it's going to be both. And what I mean by this is, I think you have to. It was Wanda and Vision's show. It was Wanda's show, technically. Like, it was Wanda's story, essentially. But you have a little bit of Agatha, and she was like, "Oh yeah, a bunch of witches," and then they do the little like info thing with the witches. But like, there's got to be so much more with that. There's gonna be so much more with that.
Agreed.
You can go through all that, and then I think it's gonna end like the first half of the show is gonna be like explanation, this is witches, this is the witch lineage, whatever, going forward. And the second half is going to be her either breaking out of where she's at now, Westview, and like kind of like starting her own power gain, and then eventually running into Contessa de la Fontaine because they need a.
My thing with it. So I think they've already gone through her past with those witches. So you said there's going to be a lot that they could do with it, but they kind of went through it in WandaVision. So they don't really need to go through that.
I mean, they went through a little bit. I think there's still more that you got to understand.
There's more. I think you want to see more of her childhood as opposed to her like adult year. The part that I'd be most interested in that would be the time from that up to WandaVision. That's the timeline I'd like to see if it was a prequel.
Why she went to Westview.
Right, like all of that, like from that moment she was on, like getting burned at the stake, and then killed all the other women. From that point up to WandaVision is the timeline I'd like to see for a prequel. However, if it's not a prequel, this is coming. It's filming in October,
right?
So it's going to be at least 6 months of filming. You don't know when it's going to be released. It might not be till 2023 or 2024. Probably late 2023 at best.
Late 2023, yeah, that's about a year. This
is when a lot of stuff's already happening. Like Multiverse of Madness and that sort of thing's already happening. I think they could do something like Scarlet Witch. Mephisto, yes. Scarlet Witch can't keep her hold mentally on Agatha because she's using the Darkhold. She goes into the dark dimension, so she can't. And so it's her getting freed because of Scarlet Witch not being able to control her anymore.
Right.
So I think it could definitely be a current timeline of Agatha and running an almost either a villain-centric show, which I've been begging for, or an anti-hero Agatha.
I think she's gonna. Yeah, I think you're gonna do the villain type thing, and I think she's gonna get recruited
by Contessa
to like someone's got to combat Scarlet Witch. Like, you know what I mean?
In the comic book, she becomes a mentor to Scarlet Witch.
Yeah, she's a mentor. Right. But she's also working for Mephisto to enslave her children. You know what I mean? So there's both.
They could go so many ways with. So the more I think about it, I think that show is. I want to see if they do prequel. I think it's just going to be anti-hero level. Like, oh, you're going to start feeling for Agatha. However, the timeline I'm interested in, I already said. And then if they do a current timeline, I think it's going to have a connection with Wanda that does lead into Dark Dimension, Mephisto, that sort of thing.
Right. It could just lead to her eventually getting her kids, like that whole run.
Absolutely.
Because I don't think Multiverse of Madness is going to I don't think she's gonna get her kids in that. I don't know. There's so much in that that's gonna be happening in that movie. Is that gonna be the storyline we want Wanda to do?
Well, that's the thing, is
get her kids. I don't know.
I don't want to hold her to something she said in the past. Elizabeth Olsen said that WandaVision's or Multiverse of Madness Wanda is the exact opposite of WandaVision Wanda.
You got everything in WandaVision though.
A story focused on just the kids on that and all that would
that doesn't make sense. And
so I don't know. I if I had to take a guess, if I were to come up with my own theory, I think it's Agatha current timeline freed by WandaVision or Scarlet not being able to hold on to her. And Agatha, basically her story from her plan, how she manipulates. And then if it does involve Wanda's kids, it would be her goal would be to eventually capture Wanda's kids. And maybe inadvertently, she thinks she's holding Wanda captive, but inadvertently helping Wanda because she gets the kids, thinking that she's stopping Wanda, but maybe Wanda fails to get her kids in Multiverse of Madness. And so now when she thinks she's holding Wanda's kids hostage, she's really created a way for Wanda to get her kids.
So in Spider-Man No Way Home, Aunt May dies. Aunt May dies in the comics, and Spider-Man makes a deal with Mephisto where everyone forgets who Peter Parker is, so that May lives. That's a comic run. So they didn't do that, right? So they have that run they could use for, say, Wanda or something like that. And they also obviously have the Mephisto souls are Billy and Tommy, stuff with Agatha and stuff like that. So they have a lot of avenues where they can bring in I think you're right. I still think they're gonna get a little bit like in the past. You're gonna get a little bit in the past, just some kind of filler.
Otherwise, you're not building a love for the character.
Right.
You have to be able
traumatic
to root
past.
For Agatha.
That's part of
have to be able to root for Agatha.
Right. So traumatic past. That's just the description of a hero. Traumatic past, turning point, heroic fight scene, and then we love them. So
villain is traumatic past, turning point, hatred for the world.
Exactly. So, no, yeah, I think it's you're gonna get brief backstory. I think you're right. Agatha's got to break out, or maybe like Sword knows she's there too. So if there's a corrupt head in Sword, which there is
at least one.
Yeah, so they could go get her, you know, and then yeah, we're just gonna take you out of Westview, and then you're gonna be okay, and then you're gonna magic.
Right.
Oh,
magic us.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Well, then let's
We'll
jump
have to
in.
see what happens, but we probably got that one, nailed that one on the head too. So
We have countless times, so wouldn't be surprised if we do it again. The next big thing, John Watts, the director of No Way Home, or one of the big members of No Way Home. Tell me about your big member. He will be directing another Marvel movie coming up. Apparently, that will be Fantastic Four. Not confirmed, but leaks say it's Fantastic Four.
I think he's doing it just because what he did Far From Home, where it says we can't wait to show you what's next, and it's 1, 2, 3, and then the question mark where 4 is. Everyone says that, which makes me believe that new Stark Tower, when that was bought, is going to be the Baxter Building. And if that turns out to be the case, and John Watts is doing Fantastic Four too, then that's
especially because we found out that in Tom Holland's universe there is no Oscorp.
Yeah,
and Norman
Oscorp
Osborn doesn't exist.
And those were the two things. We thought it was either Oscorp, could have been the Daily Bugle, but the Daily Bugle is,
or what, the Kangs.
Oh yeah, Kang, Qeng.
Yeah, it could have been Kang, or it could have been Fantastic Four.
Yeah. But that was new Stark Tower, Stark Tower prior to the renovations. That's what,
which is why most people probably think that it's Fantastic Four.
Yeah, Baxter Building. So, yeah.
I think he is. I think these sorts of leaks happen because Disney wants you to know. They want people to start talking about it now. Free advertising, free hype, free go see it. Yeah, I think that it's a little too early to go into details about it, but at the moment, jacked for it. Your favorite hero is Mr. Fantastic. For those of you who don't know, Joe's favorite hero is Mr. Fantastic. Probably gonna go see that as ASAP. Maybe that's one of those ones we go on a Thursday.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's a few of these coming up that I want to go see so quick. And Fantastic Four, I don't know. I love Fantastic Four. I love Human Torch. I love Invisible Woman, The Thing. It's just, I'm a huge Silver Surfer. That's where Galactus comes in. The Fantastic Four universe is just
Doctor
so cool.
Doom.
Yeah, and Cillian Murphy is one of my favorite actors, and if he, when he becomes Doctor Doom, because he will be, I still think the John Krasinski, Emily Blunt, Seth Rogen thing, that was one of the people we talked about way long ago. Zac
Efron would be perfect.
A lot of people said John Cena.
Liam Hemsworth, John Cena, but then you couldn't see him, so I mean,
right?
And then
Are you sure about that?
Cillian Murphy would be sweet because Cillian Murphy and John Krasinski would. I feel like they're very similar. They're similar look.
Cillian Murphy replaced John Krasinski in The Quiet Place. So, yeah, in the first movie after he dies, in the second movie, the lead is Cillian Murphy.
Yeah, well, it's all set in stone already.
Yeah, they're friends. They're making sure they get to know each other. They were already on set together, so hey, want to do a movie together?
Yeah. Oh, what movie? Oh, Fantastic Four. It's coming out. Come on.
Yeah, so I would be cool with that. I don't think it doesn't sound like Emily Blunt wants to be in a superhero movie though, and I like some of the other fan mock-ups that they have.
Yeah,
I've seen a couple that I absolutely hate.
A lot of steam of and you've probably never seen the show You on Netflix. You know what it's about?
Yeah. Yep.
Some dude that just gets obsessed with women and
Penn Badgley, right?
Kills them.
I don't know.
The guy, that's his name.
Yeah.
Well, the woman that he ends up marrying, spoiler alert, she's getting a lot of steam right now.
I would never have watched. Yeah, it's Penn Badgley.
Yeah. So the woman,
Victoria Pedretti.
Yeah, who plays Love.
Yep.
So yeah, she's getting a lot of steam right now on the Twitterverse.
Oh, she's in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood
for Invisible Woman.
That'd be cool. I don't know much about her, so I'm always fine with the not big names. Which I mean, she's kind of a big name with you.
Big Netflix,
You is season 1, 2, and 3 are in the top 10 most watched English Netflix shows.
Yeah,
so she's big there. And Once Upon a Time in Hollywood was one of the most critically acclaimed movies which she's in. So she's not necessarily a small name, but she's also not one of these huge names that's in everything, right? Especially movies. So it's like, I would be totally fine with her being Invisible Woman. I thought you were gonna say Penn Badgley for Mr. Fantastic. I was like, never would have thought of that, but I could see it.
Yeah, tall, skinny.
I've seen a couple that I absolutely hate, but I for the most part, a lot of the fan castings for the Fantastic Four really aren't bad, because a lot of people, now that we know what we don't want for Fantastic Four, now that we know what we don't want, I think a lot of fans are understanding what we do want.
The one thing I did like from Fan Four Stick, and this is very, very small part, was when they retrieve Victor Von Doom from the planet.
Yep.
And he just goes nuts inside the facility and just starts exploding people's heads and like running around. Like, it was like 2 minutes, but that was the best part of the movie. It was like Dr. Doom doing Doom stuff and just like, exploding,
letting
you,
Doom go Doom.
Yeah, that was the best part.
Which
and then 38 seconds later, the movie was over because they
38
won.
seconds later, the heroes won and the story got wrapped up.
Yep.
Yeah, and they were like, "Oh, great job! You look 10 years older than you," and it's terrible. That movie was not good. This sequel got canceled immediately.
Yeah, they had to make one every 7 years to keep the rights, so there would have been another one in 7 years later. Fan 4 Stick 2.
No, that would have bombed. That would have been Phoenix level bombing.
Yeah, of course it would have bombed, but they kept their rights. So
yeah. Well,
Marvel's got
anyway. Whatever they do there, I think it looks like they're heading in the right direction, and they've gotten a good director already that knows what they're doing. The next thing is kind of smaller, but Laura Donnelly sounds like she will be playing Vampire by Night in a Halloween special, Marvel Halloween special that's coming out this year in October. Which another thing that's happening in October, Agatha's filming.
Is it live action or is it like a?
Sounds like it's animated potentially. Okay. But that made me ask, like, what happened to the Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas, or is that?
I still think it's a thing.
Is it coming out later this year then?
I don't know. It's not. I would imagine next year. I don't know.
Or is it going to be like a Christmas in July, sort of like, oh, we're releasing it in July?
I have no idea, because he's supposed to film Guardians of the Galaxy 3 and the Christmas special at the same time. So
right. So when I saw the Halloween special, I was like, whatever happened to Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas special? Because that was
supposed to be MCU canon too. So I don't know.
I got confused. I was like, oh, cool, Vampire by Night. That'd be like, oh, Laura Donnelly. That's cool. Wait a second. Whatever happened? Like, I was like, what do you? Wasn't there a thing, a canon show that was going to be coming out that James Gunn said we have to see, that he was excited to film? Oh wait, no, that never happened. Like, so yeah. We actually only have one last Marvel topic.
I got that one little.
Oh yeah, I guess.
It's just there's apparently plans to make a Disney Plus show following Eros, or Star Fox, Harry Styles' character from the end of Eternals.
I'm for it.
That's it.
Yeah, we haven't seen Eros except for the credit scene,
and I want to see what happened on Titan. So,
yeah, because I mean, we've already heard, they've already given us backstory that Eros had heard about Thanos already, and that he was actually the Eternal on Titan.
Yeah, he was trying to defend it, like that's what happens in the comics. He's trying to defend it, but then he just can't, and so he leaves.
Yeah, apparently he's the Eternal on Titan, so he's another. They're kind of hinting that maybe Inhumans are coming in the near future, considering Miss Marvel isn't one at the moment. But they've hinted that Inhumans are coming in, so that's another one with, if you bring in Eros and do a show about him, this is a time you could bring in Thane.
Yeah, Thanos' family. I mean, that's his nephew.
Yeah,
super giants out there somewhere.
And you could deal with World War Hulk. You could have some sort of connection. I think World War Hulk's gonna be huge. I keep mentioning it because I do think it's gonna be another one of those connecting. World War Hulk, the comic series, covered Fantastic Four, Inhumans, Doctor Strange. I covered so much, so that's another time where you might deal with the Planet Hulk sort of situation, and that's when we get it.
Planet Hulk, where Wolverine goes there and kills all of Hulk's offspring, and then Hulk eats him, and Wolverine tears him apart from the inside.
Probably won't be that gruesome, but yeah. Probably comes out his backside instead.
Ooh. Daggers first.
Oh God. All right, and then we just have one last Marvel topic. that last Marvel topic is that Halle Berry would like to play Zendaya's mom in a future role that she actually already has planned. And then in that same interview, she does reference her Zendaya's role in No Way Home. So people are speculating that she wants to be Zendaya, that she wants to be MJ's mom.
Would she be like so it's Michelle Jones Watson, right? Michelle Jones Watson. So it could be either her last name is Jones or her last name is Watson, and she's formerly divorced or something. I don't know. Something like that.
Yep. So it doesn't necessarily have to be Marvel, which is why we don't have to go too deep into this one. But
what if her name was like, what if she joined the MCU and her character's name was like Aurora Monroe?
Aurora Monroe Jones Watson.
There you go.
They get into the multiverse and they're like, Storm? She's like, who?
Right. Cap? Flame on.
Batman? Like, no.
Batman? Foggy?
Right, just all these different people. Minerva?
Jennifer Garner?
Minerva?
Oh, you can't even tell it's her though.
No.
Let's be honest.
But yeah, that's it for
Pietro?
Marvel stuff. Pietro's that. Which I don't know if you saw that leak. Did you see that?
What, Kraven the Hunter?
No, that Multiverse of Madness is going to mess with Wanda in a severely mental way, including bringing back Pietro.
Like Aaron Taylor Johnson, Pietro.
Mm-hmm. Apparently, that's going to happen in Multiverse of Madness. Should have brought that up earlier.
Magneto's also like. There's so many people rumored, but Magneto's rumored too. So
which Magneto?
Yes.
Yeah.
Michael Fassbender, Ian McKellen.
Anyway, that's it for Marvel. There is more stuff I feel like we could talk about, but I don't have it prepared, and I don't want to talk about things I don't have prepared. So we're going to jump into some DC news. We had some good DC news last week that people wanted to talk about.
I've got a third DC topic after the two.
Okay. The first one is that the Batman, will be PG-13. So I called it Batman 13, Battinson 13. Yeah, unfortunately, it will be PG-13. A lot of people were talking about how they wanted this one to be R because it was dark.
It looked DC movie dark. Camera action. No,
you forgot lights. We don't have lights here.
So in the first trailer, which was the best trailer for the Batman in my opinion.
Every trailer that's come out has made my expectations drop.
Yeah. The first one where he goes, "Who are you?" and he goes, "I am vengeance," and he starts beating the shit out of that guy. It's like
right, you hear the
gross,
splurts.
like blood, like Negan and Abraham's head in The Walking Dead. It's like,
yeah, yep.
Like that was the punches were like. So I was like, okay, like this dude's messed up. Like this dude's
brutal.
probably dead. Like, yeah, or severely needs facial construction to live,
right?
Type of thing. But yeah, so I mean, I was surprised. I mean, I don't think
he's got the Bully Maguire. He's got the Spider-Man 3 haircut.
Yeah. We had a comment about the DC universe.
Yeah. Yep.
And Warner Brothers in general.
Both on Twitter and YouTube.
Warner Brothers is all about money, and it is statistically proven. Unless you have the right niche like Deadpool or Logan, PG-13 is going to be the biggest audience range. It's going to make you the most money. So
yeah, it's the most. I mean, you get anybody like 16-year-olds, 16 to 18 that are able to go to the movies driving there. A lot of kids that go after school that are 13 can go. They don't need parental assistance to get in. Yeah, PG-13 just it makes the most money, but a lot of people on the internet were disappointed. This is another one of those times where I felt like they could have released it as R and then had a PG. You could have most theaters right now are struggling to get movies in there. So most probably means that they have multiple different theaters open. A lot of theaters have, like the one that we go to has the monster screen with the giant screen, and then like all the rest are like the normal big screens. The monster screen can be the rated R version, and then you have 2 other theaters that are playing the PG-13 version.
Even vice versa. Like if you wanted, like put an R in a smaller theater, you're still gonna get the people. Like if you did like Venom. The first Venom. If there was an R cut, we probably would have seen that one.
I would have rather have seen the Venom Carnage with an R cut.
Or the first Venom. If that was an R cut, that would have been one I wanted to see. So
100%. 100%.
So,
and I think
like I
Logan
said, unless
with
you
a
have
PG-13 cut would not have been great, but more people would have seen it.
Well, here's the thing: people wanted the R cut, and so they're like, you know what? Let's do an R cut.
It's the last one, might as well.
They did an R cut, and it was one of the best comic book movies.
I've only watched it once. I have yet to go back and watch it again, not because it's bad, but because it's just too heavy for me.
Yeah, and
I don't like what they do to Professor X too. It makes me pissed off. So.
Yeah,
one of the greatest men in history, and he's buried off the side of a highway.
Yeah, I mean, out of all the comic book movies that Fox made, top
Deadpool.
3, Deadpool 2, and that one, they're all top 3 probably. So. Yeah.
I think it would be smart. I think Batman would have been smart. So going back to DC, I think Batman would have been smart. That
one's not even in the DCEU. That's not, unless they have plans to put it in the DCEU.
It doesn't sound like they do.
Yeah, so it's just a one-off.
All right,
but I think, let's look at Joker, for instance. Which Joker, very successful, highest-grossing R-rated comic book movie of all time. The Joker with Joaquin Phoenix, that has a potential to be set in Battinson's universe, because it's a very old Joker. Like Joaquin Phoenix is like 50 in that, and Bruce Wayne's like 8. So you could have this Joker inspire a generation with what he did, like Joaquin Phoenix's Joker, inspire a generation, and our new Joker in Battinson's universe, if they decide to do that, could be from one of these like cultists,
right? And takes it in a more twisted,
and that could be Battinson's Joker. So it could be set in that same universe. That's R, and that did very well. So.
Agreed. So I was one of those people that was upset. I understand it, just like you said. That Warner Brothers is all about money.
Yeah, they don't care.
They will sacrifice story quality,
continuity,
picture continuity, anything. Just
they don't care money.
Which that's it makes you immediate money, but if you focus on story continuity, providing what fans want, that's continued money for 10 years.
Yeah, they're like this, right? They're like I can't get my hands straight. They're like
they're like
that's
this,
their money
right?
game.
They're like
that's
this, right?
that's their money game. Oh, let's do it from the side.
Yeah,
that's their money game. It's like this. It's like a straight line. They're pumping out a new movie. It's staying right here. This is their money they're making. Like constant growth, but with continuity in a universe, it's going to be like,
right. You'll see the dips with the investments. The dip with the investment, but immediately after the dip in the investment is a jump from like you were here, you took the investment, and all of a sudden, boom, you jumped up, dip, boom, like that's just what happens. And I don't. Warner Brothers has been around forever. You would think they would understand that sort of business concept, but I think the Batman is still going to be good. Like I've said, every trailer has made my expectations drop. So unfortunately, I'm getting less and less excited for it. However, another thing people are upset about is the Riddler. The picture of the Riddler just came out. So now we know what the Riddler is going to look like. And everybody hates it. Just obviously it's Twitter and the internet. So people are like, oh, it's Reddit, all this stuff. Well, I hate it. It sucks. Very few people talking supportive about it. I voice my support for it because it completely fits the way they're talking about the movie.
Yeah,
it's not. This type of movie shouldn't have a Jim Carrey Riddler.
Yeah, it should have a top hat and a cane,
right?
Bright green suit with question marks on it.
When the rest of the movie is shot like Suicide Squad level light, it's got Batman genuinely has the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man 3 haircut, and he's wearing
black eyeshadow
the whole time.
It's dark, and
yet you want. Riddler, like it just doesn't.
I have a riddle for
It just doesn't make sense. So I think this Riddler is perfect. It reminds me a little of Scarecrow. Like it's just a little.
Sure,
I like it.
Cillian Murphy.
Another reference to Cillian Murphy. You get me.
So when they cast this movie, obviously I was super excited for Battinson. Right, it was. I forget who it was between. It was Battinson and someone else.
Yep, I don't remember who the other one was.
Nicholas Hoult, right?
If it was, that wouldn't surprise me.
I want to say it was Nicholas Hoult. But yeah, Battinson.
It was Nicholas Hoult. Yep.
Yeah, I was super excited for that. And then they cast Riddler, and I was like, all right, Paul Dano's going to be really good.
Oh
so
yeah,
I'm super excited for that. And then the Colin Farrell as Penguin really kind of threw me. was like,
that
what?
threw a lot of. Everybody
like,
was super
wait,
excited for Dano, and then Colin Farrell, and people were like, okay.
Zoe Kravitz, it's whatever. It's Catwoman. I've seen the story 6,000 times. Jeffrey Wright.
Yeah,
Jeffrey Wright.
Jeffrey Wright as Albert.
Detective Gordon.
Oh,
No.
Gordon.
Alfred
is
Andy
Gollum.
Serkis.
Andy Serkis. Thank you.
And
Yeah,
then,
but Jeffrey Wright, Beatty from
Yeah.
Hunger Games.
is Detective Gordon. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm excited. I'm excited for it. I think I'm going to love portions of it, and I'm going to be like, why did they do that with other portions? But
Agreed.
I think overall, I'm going to enjoy the movie. So,
I 100% agree, and I honestly think that by the end of it, I am calling it now. People are going to say Riddler stole the show, and then they're also going to say they completely understand why Penguin's getting a spinoff.
Yeah.
Penguin's getting his own show. So I think that's what's going to happen.
I hope the success of it breeds another one, because I would love to see the Joker be set in this DC or this Battinson
See, that's
world.
the thing is like,
But
we're talking about it. They could perfectly set up that mentorship with a crazy Joker following Joaquin Phoenix's. That is such a good plan and good idea, and it makes total sense that is exactly why Warner Brothers won't do it.
exactly. Will it make us money? Yeah. How much? A lot.
Well, it'll make you a lot over 10 years. Yeah, but how much does it make us now? Not as much, but it'll make you a ton in 10 years because you'll be able to set up 3 more movies. Yeah, but we want to make sure we make money with 1 movie.
Yeah, but no, here, listen, this leads to a Joker 2, right? So you get a Joker 2, and then you get the Batman 2 and 3. But what does that make us right now? Can we make another Justice League? No, we don't want another Justice League.
This isn't about Justice League. This is about building a. I'm sorry. We're gonna
do
you
Justice
off here.
League.
We're just gonna do Justice League with the Batman and the Flash from the TV show.
Yeah, but he's gonna wipe everyone out, and he's not gonna exist.
Good. Anyway, let's jump into the next topic because one
more thing. Peacemaker came out. Peacemaker.
Yeah, with John Cena.
John Cena. Yeah, I thought it was in development. It was going to come out months from now, but apparently it's out. So it's another thing I gotta watch.
And that James Gunn said he would more than love to do another season, but after Guardians of the Galaxy 3, he plans on taking an extended break from filmmaking. It'll be a while for the next one, so hopefully you enjoy it, savor it, because it'll be a while. And he was John Cena was just on Pat McAfee show promoting that.
I'd love to see him in a Marvel project, but
I'd love to see him naked. All right, so let's jump on to our next topic. Let's just hit some sad stuff right away, because we'll move on from the sad stuff and then pick ourselves back up. Bob Saget passed away. Beloved comedian. Everybody saw him on Full House. He was on these such family-friendly shows, and then he did, I can't remember the movie or the comedy special, where he's just telling super raunchy, super raunchy jokes, and people were like, Bob Saget? And then all these comedians and actors came out and been like, that's the way Bob is off camera. Is he's just a super dirty, raunchy dude. And he had just done a show the night before. He had stayed extra because he was having so much fun that he ended up doing a 2-hour set.
Sure.
And then they found him in his hotel room. They still have yet to, because they found no drugs or signs of foul play, they said it'll be at least 2 to 3 weeks till we find out how he died.
Sure.
But yeah, I was not happy. I was very sad about it because, we grew up in the Bob's,
You just yell Bob Saget randomly. That's
right.
Just
that
thing.
was there was
Bob
before memes were called memes, before they were even there was a name for them. Bob Saget was one of our generation's memes. I remember in track and field, you and I we would hear people yell Bob Saget, and it would have no reason, just because that was the meme. You yell Bob Saget. So he has all these different things you watched him as a kid. All this very funny comedian. It was very, very, very sad to hear. So I do hope he is resting in peace, and him and Betty White are in the afterlife, making everybody laugh now. Then the next one that was also incredibly sad and momentous was Sidney Poitier, passed away at 94, who was the first African American to win, I believe it was an Academy or a Golden Globe for Best Actor, first black man to get the award.
Best actor, yeah.
And that was in the 60s. He was a black actor that had been acting since the 20s. So he was just groundbreaking. And he didn't get a lot of coverage. His death was in between Bob Saget and Betty White, and it's kind of gotten overshadowed.
Sure.
Which was it's just disappointing because Sidney meant a ton. So I did want to give that of course, rest in peace to him as well, because that was another huge one for, even if you didn't know who Sidney Poitier was, huge for the industry. So I do want to say rest in peace there as well. So now that the very sad things are done, let's move on to
sex.
Yeah. Perfect transition. All right. There was actually supposed to be, and for those of you that have not seen The Witcher, you finished it, right?
I did, yeah.
Yes. Yeah, season 2 of The Witcher, incredibly good, so good. The last 2 episodes
very
completely changed the pace. I don't know if you agree with that.
I still hate Yennefer for some reason, but
well, a lot of people that read the books,
yeah, I mean, she
also hate her.
Mike himself said that I know what they're doing. Like, he played the games. He's like, I know what they're doing with Yennefer and the mages and stuff. And I was like, okay, it's gonna lead to something that I hopefully understand and not but
she's completely different than the book. So a lot of the people that read the Witcher series hate her.
Yeah,
but you're not part of those. You just hate her because the character.
I don't know why. I think it's her voice. I think there's something weird with her voice. So it's like I don't know. It's like
I like her. I like her a lot, actually.
I don't know.
She's actually my wife's favorite character.
I like Cirilla. I like Geralt.
My wife's favorites were Ciri and Yennefer. My favorite's Geralt.
Not Jaskier.
Well, I mean, I love Jaskier because I feel like if I were an actor, I would want to be Jaskier. I can't sing though, so it's like I couldn't. So it'd be the dream role because I could sing, but if I had to imagine myself, I could see myself being bard character.
Sure.
So I love. And he's a comedian. He's so funny. I usually like the funny guy, and then I usually like the villains.
What would I be?
Who would you?
If we were in a show.
If we were, we're talking about The Witcher.
Yeah.
So if we were in The Witcher,
would I be a mage? I'm too funny to be a mage, I think. We're the same person.
Well, because I was thinking I could see you like that the guy who mind messes up with Yennefer, the bad guy.
Oh, that dude's not
the old wizard, the mage.
Strangobor or something.
Strangobor. Yeah.
Strangobor, yeah.
I feel like I could see you doing Strangobor.
A young Strangobor.
A younger Strangobor. Yeah, like an evil mage. Like if you were a mage, it might be on like the darker side of the mage. You had to I like the young
mage. I'll take the young mage.
Well, I'm sure. Yeah.
I'll be the young mage, and you'll be my bard companion.
We'll do that for a future D&D campaign.
Okay.
I'll be a halfling bard. and you can be a warlock or something, or druid.
Yeah, chaotic evil mage. Chaotic good evil mage.
Right, you're chaotic neutral, and I'm chaotic evil bard. Anyway, yeah. So there was supposed to be a sex scene in The Witcher season 2, and both Henry Cavill and Anya, the woman who plays Yennefer, both shot it down because they believed it was not necessary, didn't help either character, and that it did not make sense with the story.
He hated her. Like, that doesn't right. Yeah.
Right. And I 100% agree. I think so. Henry Cavill has a lot of his consistency is when he's doing any of these nerdy things, or he very much cares about sticking to the story, sticking to the
his portrayal, right?
Right. He's not about oh, we're not going to sell out. We're not going to have unnecessary sex scene just because. So
Chloe's out.
Exactly. There was unnecessary sex scene with Cersei and I want to say Eros. Yeah, Icarus. There was unnecessary sex scene there.
Icarus and Eros. That would have been necessary.
I would watch. That would have been necessary. 100%. I 100% agree. 100%. It would have made zero sense, and it would have been with the people that are already devoted to the series, the game, and the series that were trying to stick it out to watch the show, because a lot of people are saying they want to like it, but they're not liking it. Those people that are trying to stick around, that would have been been what officially kicked them out. Yep. you would have lost all those people. I'm glad they stuck to their guns, and I'm glad they listened to their main actors and didn't do it. The next couple things are some fun storylines, so let's do those last. Let's do the couple video game stuff first. Lego, the building blocks. Lego. They have
Lego.
They have delayed their Overwatch 2 set because they are debating cutting all ties with Blizzard. Blizzard still has that one person, and the CEO or whatever, CFO, is the one person left in leadership that has not stepped down, that's involved in the legal case. I feel like that's a big reason why they're losing all these sponsors and stuff.
Right.
I feel like if that person were to be forcibly removed, a lot of these sponsors would be like, oh, they're trying to make a change, but for some reason they're just not doing anything.
Yeah,
they're
I'm
letting
very
the legal action go
confused with
through.
what's gonna happen just with Blizzard in general, because Activision owns Blizzard, but I think it's just I don't think it's with Activision. I think it's just with Blizzard.
Sure.
Because Activision makes games like they make a ton of games. Call of Duty is one of their biggest ones. Yeah, Blizzard, I don't know.
Yeah.
Because eventually they're gonna have a World of Warcraft expansion. They're gonna have to come out with. They got Overwatch 2, which will never come out.
StarCraft 3.
They got StarCraft 3, right? They got the Warcraft remake, which dog shit apparently. So, or the remaster, the Warcraft.
How about a StarCraft console game again?
StarCraft 3, Diablo 4 would be huge. Overwatch 2 will never come out, and a World of Warcraft expansion. So I mean, like, they got very successful titles that eventually they need to make continuations, and
they gotta forcibly remove that guy and sell the company. I think that'll help.
I mean, Activision is holding on. I don't know. Activision's holding. They got them like.
If you lose a sponsorship like Lego, though, like that is huge.
Yeah, but I mean, Activision can probably makes enough money to cushion
I don't know
that.
If it's worth it, though.
I don't know.
That's like the Warner Brothers thing.
What they need to do
turning
is
down
they need
long-term
to
money.
Yeah, they need to. What they need to do is they just need to hire us. They need to cut ties with Blizzard. Activision can cut ties with Blizzard. Hire us, both of us, and then go buy Midway Games, and then we will revitalize Gauntlet Legends.
I think that's perfect. The next video game thing is the LCS starts this weekend, so I think I'm gonna actually try to pay attention to every game this year if I can.
Yeah, if I can't watch, I usually work Saturdays and Sundays, sometimes Sundays, but I'm gonna definitely watch the games.
Yeah,
I
slacked last year. I'm gonna try because I usually love the LEC, so just because their casters tend to be quite a lot better. So I'm gonna try to catch some games and try to catch every TSM game.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to catch every TSM game because I feel like that's what we're gonna talk about on here is TSM. And so I would like to at least watch the games and be able to be like, yeah, this is where our weak point is.
Right.
For all those TSM fans. And then we can just, if it doesn't work out, we can just bully them.
Yeah, perfect. They're used to it. So.
Yeah. There was one other thing I wanted to say when it comes to LCS. Oh yeah, because there's like one split you missed, and I paid attention to it. And there's like one split you missed, I paid attention to it, and because it was right after we had Spica in the playoffs, and we're like, all right, Spica can only play Jarvan. Right, that's all he could play, and then you were like, "Yeah, I don't know. I don't think Spica's gonna be that good or whatever." And I was like, "Dude, he's like the next up and coming guy. Like something's gonna click for him." And then like the next time it was like, "All right, Spica's MVP," and it's like, yeah. So
yeah, I think that was when we had Sven and Mithy. Was when I didn't watch.
You didn't miss much.
And the last thing is in 2017. I thought the story was new.
Because it came to light,
but apparently 2 LA police officers didn't respond to a robbery call because they wanted to pursue a Pokemon Go Snorlax, and it wasn't even a 4-star or a shiny.
Yeah, see,
they got robbed.
Yeah, it was understandable though. If it would have been a 4-star or a shiny, like a perfect IV Snorlax or a shiny Snorlax, that would have been worth it, I think. Right.
The person that called in would have been like, oh, okay.
But would the chief officer then demand he gets that Snorlax?
Right. Though? You want to keep your job? You trade me that Snorlax. Yeah. I got a 0 IV Bidoof.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Interesting.
I
But
would
yeah,
have
that,
I would have
that
probably
came to light.
blackmailed for it if I was the chief guy. I would have blackmailed for the shiny 4-star Snorlax.
Understandable.
So
That's all we got. Do you have anything else that you want to talk about?
put the Joker puzzle up.
Joker puzzle looks good. I don't have
Puzzle.
one. Well, thank you all for watching though and listening, because this was episode 30. That's pretty big. That's pretty huge. And if you like sports, feel free to check out that other segment. Otherwise, if you did enjoy this, like, subscribe, follow, kiss us on the mouth. You all look great today. GG.
GG.